Alright, y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm King Tyson. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like I always tell y'all to do in the beginning or the end of my videos. Check it out before we start. Write me at KingTyson713 at yahoo.com if you want my advice about something, you want my opinion about something. Write me, KingTyson713 at yahoo.com. Also, if you like this content, please go to the video tab section of this YouTube channel. Click on the video that interests you. Watch it. Give me some feedback in the comments. I really appreciate that. So look, let's make this quick video. This goes out to my brothers. I know I've been through all of this shit, right? And I've been through a divorce. I've been through a custody battle with my ex-wife, my son's mother. I've been through it all when it comes to the court system. I know that court system, at least in the state of Texas, which almost is about the same everywhere else in the United States. I pretty much know the steps, what it takes to get your rights, get your parental rights, things that you got to do. I paid the first time when me and my ex-wife, we went through a divorce. I didn't get a lawyer. She got a lawyer. I ended up having to pay child support, and I got the normal every other weekend visitation, right? But the thing about it is my ex-wife, she primarily was concerned really just about the child support. So once I got the child support, it wasn't no every other weekend thing. It was like, okay, you could just get them whenever you get them. And I was getting them between me and my mother. We was getting them majority of the time, right? So as long as she got her child support, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I gave it to her, whatever, right? The second time, after so many years, every 3 years, when you're on child support, the mother of your children can go back and do an increase, right? So my ex-wife, she never went for an increase. I was on child support since my son was about 2 years old, up until he was about, it was 10 years later. Because the thing is about it is, between me, my mother helping out, she rarely had to do anything. Like, everything was on me, myself. I wasn't working. Well, I was always working, but I got my mom. If I'm because I do HVAC, so I'm working long hours in the summertime. I can just rely on my mom to get my son, pick him up from school, stuff like that, right? When I can't do it, so everything was on me and my mom, right? And so everything was easy for her, right? And so she never went up for an increase up until 2 years ago. She went for an increase, and I felt like, okay, you're gonna go for an increase. Why would you go for an increase? And I'm doing everything, I'm making sure my son is going to school from my address. Why would you try to go for an increase and everything is on? It's like I'm doing majority more than what you're doing, right? And I'm not dissing my ex-wife or nothing like that. I'm just speaking facts. So I decided to take her to court. I took her to court. Before I say that, right? Let me say this. Let me go back because I missed a step. When we divorced, I went and filed for joint custody. That's what happened. I wouldn't file for joint custody. I want to talk to my brothers about this. If the mother of your kids take you to go to call Attorney General, and she says, hey, she files child support, right? And you got to pay child support. You get your child every other weekend. And in the summertime, you get your kids on the summertime. That's standard. If the mother of your kids try to tell you can't get your kids on the every other weekend or in the summertime, you take that paperwork. I know brothers don't like to call the police, but you have to call the police and tell the police, hey, listen, hey, it's time for me to get my child. I got my kids in the summertime. She got to give them up. You show them that paperwork, they come to the door. Hey, they give them your kids. That's how it goes, right? I filed for joint custody. Now, this is why I want my brothers I want you have to pay the money to file it. See, when they file child support on you, you don't have to pay anything but just child support, right? When you file for joint custody, you have to go to court, file for joint custody, get the mother of your children served. You have to get them served. You have to go to court, and you have to be granted joint custody. Joint custody is something that the mother of your kids, even though she's still the primary parent. This is, I want my brothers to understand. The reason why you pay child support, because the mother of your children is the primary parent, and you're the non-custodial parent. They are the custodial parent. That means that the child lives with them, and they have to make the decisions what school the kids go to, the medical decisions. Everything is on them. So that what makes them the parental, the custodial parent, the primary parent, right? So you're the secondary parent, you are the non-custodial parent. Well, when you file joint custody, the mother of your children is still the primary parent, but this is why I recommend all brothers, you paying child support, go file for joint custody, because that way the mother of your kids can't move within 100 miles of you. So that means sometimes have you been through a situation, you know a situation of a man loving his kids, and the mother, they're not together. The mother of those kids decide to meet somebody else, get married, or whatever dude she meet, and she go move out of town or out of state, right, to a whole nother city, and just you have no rights. You like what? So she just take your child and just move elsewhere, and you have no say so because you didn't file for joint custody. You just got the regular child support standard visitation order. This is why I tell brothers, to stop that, you have to take your children's mother back to court. You have to get her served and file for joint custody. When you file for joint custody and the judge listens to the case, he's going to give you joint custody. If you have nothing crazy going on between, like no domestic shit or nothing like that going on with your children's mother, you will be granted joint custody. And that right there that will stop the mother of your kids moving out of town, moving out of state, moving to another city. It have to be within 100 miles. And you can see your kids on on the standard regular time, right? That's the difference. Now, fast forward. So I filed for joint custody when we first divorced. So remember I told y'all she never went up on child support, right? Up until 10 years later, she tried to go for an increase. I said, no, I'm not doing an increase because I do way more majority of you. He goes to school for my address. I'm not doing it. So what I did was I ended up getting her served and taking her to court. So and hired a lawyer. So I hired a lawyer. My lawyer got it out of the attorney general being involved. The attorney general has to sit back to the side. When you decide to take the mother of your children to court, the attorney general sits to the side and reports afterwards. So the attorney general had to sit to the side. I had to take it to family court. We end up mediating the second mediation. We end up mediating that everything is 50-50. I got 50-50 visitation. So there's no, I get them every other weekend, which I already had them way more than what the original standard visitation was. But it's on paper now that's saying that I am awarded 50-50 visitation. I got equal rights on medical rights, his schooling, all that stuff, everything. Nobody is the primary parent. So any decisions that needs to be made, we have to both discuss and agree with it. If we can't agree on it, then we have to take each other to court and let the judge decide what the decision is. Fathers, if you are involved in your kid's life, please, even if you don't file for nobody's a primary parent like I did, because I'm so involved with my son, I have to be. But the thing is, if you're okay with just the standard, then that's just what it is. But I still recommend, even if you don't go for nobody being the primary parent and everything is 50-50, I would suggest that you at least file for joint custody, because if you don't, the mother of your kids can take your child and move out of city, out of the state, and you have no rights. You have nothing at all. She could do that and you have no say so. But if you at least file for joint custody, she can't do that. So when I hired a lawyer, I got everything 50-50 visitation. The child support I originally had got dropped down tremendously by half. It got dropped down because somebody still got to pay the medical and all that stuff, right? That's the only reason why I had to pay something. But anyway, what I'm making this video to say is that, brothers, no mother of your kid, no woman can keep you from your kids. And I know brothers, I talked to brothers before to say, man, she kept me from my kids. No woman can do this. No woman can do this. And brothers, let me say this. You gotta, when it comes to your kids, see, the difference between mothers and fathers a lot of the times is that the mothers will go to the depths of the earth to make the better decision for their kids. They will go through hell and high water to sacrifice for their kids. Men, we love our kids, but we don't, a lot of times we lay down and we just let the mother of the children just do whatever because we don't want to argue with them. We don't want no back and forth. We just want less drama, less peace as possible. That's something that women, you have to understand. To keep a man, it's something separate. But ladies, men like less peace is less peace, less drama as possible. The more peace, the more better. This is how you keep a man. Less drama, more peace. When a man is at peace, a man will love you better. That's sidebar. Let's go back to what I was saying. Fellas, no woman can keep you away from your kids. I understand that she tell you can't see your kids for whatever reason. And I'm gonna be real with you, you gotta spend money. You will have to hire you a lawyer and get this woman served. You know her address, you gotta get her served. You gotta take her to court where you can get the woman can't do this. The woman can't do this. And brothers, I know there's brothers that have been through crazy situation with they baby mama, whatever, ex-wife, whatever, when it comes to the kids, but you gotta spend the money. I spent $17,000 taking my ex-wife to court to get what I got when it comes to my son, the rights, the 50-50 visitation, the child support drop. I spent $17,000. And I know what you're thinking. You like, damn, why would the hell I can't afford that. Fellas, let me be honest with you. I had got my credit up, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm gonna keep it real. A lot of those attorney fees, I charge with a credit card. I'm gonna be real with you. And I made payment arrangements. They got loan places like Affirm and Upgrade and stuff like that. This is why credit is important, brothers. Get your credit up. Stop having bad credit. Get your credit up, because the situations happen. If you don't have the money, the capital to pay for things, you can go get a loan, because when you got good credit, you can get someone would entrust you with a loan, and you can have credit. You can get credit cards, and this is stuff like this is what helped me out and helped me win my case. So that's what happened with me, man. So my advice to the brothers: no woman can keep you from your kids. It's messed up the way the system does fathers, but good fathers have a bad reputation because of the bad fathers. I'm gonna keep it real. So a lot of the times the system is going to be on the women's side automatically. They're going to be on the women's side automatically. And I'm gonna say this, rightfully so, because there are a lot of deadbeats. There are a lot of deadbeats, and this ain't got nothing to do with being black. This is just overall in all races. There are more deadbeat fathers than they are active fathers. And so the system leans towards the mother, and as they should. But the fathers who are active get treated as if they the bad fathers who's not around, and that's the messed up part. So collectively of the bad fathers makes it bad on the good fathers. So because of that, the good fathers, active fathers in their kids' life, we got to pay. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate, but we got to pay to fight for our parental rights. And if you got to get a lawyer, that's what you got to do. But you got to know your rights. You got to do research or whatnot. You can't stop letting the mother of your kids run you because y'all got kids together and you don't want no drama. You know, I can't speak for you, but brothers, I will say is that sometimes, man, if you frustrated, you can't see your kids, they're keeping your kids away from you. Know your rights. If you if you paying child support, you do have rights. Now, you might not have rights for medical and the schooling and all that, but you got rights to where you can see your kid every other weekend. That's standard visitation order, and you could get him in the summertime and the holidays. In the holidays, you know. But if you want more visitation with your child, with your children, you have to take them to court. You have to file for to try to get nobody be the primary parent. You can get more time with your kids, but you gotta pay. It's unfortunate, but you gotta pay. That's just the way it is. I know it's messed up, but that's the way it is. So, brothers, we gotta stop using the "she keeping me away from my kids" excuse. You can get your kids if you know your rights. And see, these women know that, brothers, y'all don't know your rights and you don't look into things, and so they use that against you. And you ain't got no say, so they use that to control you. And you got to learn how to know your rights, do your research, know your rights, and you gotta pay. It's messed up, but you do. But let me know what y'all think about this video. I'm King Tyson. Peace and blessings. One love. On to the next one. I'm out.